Donald Trump is really hoping this is the last week he talks about Jeffrey Epstein. But there's new polling that suggests it may just not be that. So I want to go through it a little bit and tell you why I think it matters. So we are now, just to set the scene, we are now on day 14. That is correct. Day 14 of this story. The memo from the Department of Justice came out 2 weeks ago, basically saying Epstein committed suicide. There was no client list, case closed. And that triggered a revolt within the Republican MAGA movement. People saying like, what? How can that be the case? We spent years being told there was, in fact, a there, that there was a conspiracy here, that Democrats were refusing to release this because it implicated Democratic politicians who knew Epstein and Democratic donors who palled around with Epstein. Well, that, according to the Department of Justice, isn't the case, but people aren't buying it. And I want to give you two numbers from CBS News and then go through what I think is Donald Trump's biggest mistake. So CBS News did a big poll over the weekend, big national poll. And one of the things they asked about is Epstein. Now I will note that the Epstein case is not one of the things that people say is a priority for them, that they're paying super close attention to. They're paying much more attention to immigration. They're paying more attention to the economy. When people were asked what matters a lot in your evaluation of Trump's presidency, immigration and deportation, 61%. Epstein case, 36%. Okay, so it's not the top issue in terms of how people are evaluating Trump. That said, it is an issue that continues to dog him because people, A, don't think he's handling well, and B, those people include his MAGA base. Let me give you two numbers on that front. So CBS asks, should the Department of Justice release all its information regarding the Epstein case? 89% should, 11% should not. So people want to see this stuff. But this, to me, is really important. So they asked the Trump administration, how are they handling matters related to the Epstein case? Are you satisfied or dissatisfied with how they're handling it? Okay, so as you would expect, 8% of Democrats said they were satisfied. Only 17% of independents said they were satisfied. That's a pretty staggering number. But the number I really want you to pay attention to is this. 50% of Republicans said they were satisfied. 49% of Republicans said they were dissatisfied. You almost never see that because this poll broadly still showed that Donald Trump's MAGA base is with him, right? Generally speaking, they still approve of him and all that. But on this, 50% satisfied with his handling, 49% dissatisfied. That's pretty telling, I think, about the fact that it remains a point of significant disagreement within the MAGA movement about how he's doing it. So, look, I think one of the biggest problems Donald Trump has here is he's trying to deny that he and Epstein really knew one another. And you're seeing stories come out. There was one in the New York Times that came out over the weekend that show, like, yes, they knew one another. They were friends. They were in the same social circles. Now, that doesn't mean that Donald Trump did anything nefarious. We don't know that yet, but it does mean that they knew each other and they were friends. And I think Trump, by insisting that he doesn't know Epstein, none of all this is bunk, this is fake news media. Like, it's clear they knew one another. Anyone paying any attention knows they knew one another. And I think he hurts himself by his unwillingness to at least acknowledge that and say, yeah, okay, we knew one another. We were friends. I never thought that it would go like this. And when I saw what Jeffrey was, I had never seen evidence of it. When I saw what he was, I walked away. He hasn't done that, which puts Pam Bondi in a bad place, puts Kash Patel in a bad place, puts everyone involved in this in a bad place because you have to defend something that's hard to defend, which is, they never really knew each other, when in fact we know they knew one another. So Donald Trump is hoping that this is the last week that this is a main point of conversation. Congress leaves at the end of this week. That will help him because there'll just be less people around to comment on all of this stuff in Washington. But he hopes this is the week he gets beyond it. But of course, he hoped that the last 2 weeks, and it hadn't worked out that way. So stay tuned. I'll be on the story. Take care. And I ask you to do one thing. Do me one favor before we go. Hit that subscribe button. You'll get free content, and I will continue to grow as an independent news creator. Thanks, y'all.